Hello everyone, we are here to talk about the enhancements being made to hierarchy in Clarity 16.0.0. As part of this release, we will be enhancing the following places in hierarchy. One, we'll have the ability to view investment status reports within hierarchy. Two, we will have new investment timeline view in hierarchy. Three, the grid and tree view has been enhanced with the additional functionality. And last is the enhancements to risk issues and changes modules to include additional attributes. This is important because as the adoption for hierarchy is growing, we are continuing to add additional data points that will help our customers get more information related to their investments all in a single place. In the last release, we provided the ability to see risk issues and changes for the investments included in the hierarchy. Based on that, customers provided the feedback that they also wanted to see their status data within the same hierarchy. So in this release, we've added that. And then last is that we also are making an enhancement to risk issues and changes to add additional attributes that customers specifically asked us to include to be able to see in the hierarchy modules. So the first is the status report, which is now available as a new module in the hierarchy blueprint. Administrators can add this new module to any existing hierarchy. Default blueprints will not include this new module, and the status will be displayed for all the status reports that have been included in the hierarchy for all the investments included in the hierarchy. The status module will work similar to the risk issues and changes module. This will display the data from the investments and the status reports for all the investments included in the hierarchy. Customers also have the ability to add widgets to graphically view the data. The status report data can be edited from the grid or the layout. We also support all common grid functionalities and configuration as well as widgets in here, and supporting of the attribute protected field level security. So any attribute that is protected via field level security will also be handled here. Grid view has been enhanced as follows. So now in the grid view, you have the ability to import investments. In the previous releases, this was only possible in the tree view to import investments. Now you can do it also in the grid view. You can also define and view widgets while in the grid view to be able to visualize your data. And you have the ability to manage your metrics within this view, which is also in the past only available in the tree view. The tree view has been enhanced to now also display widgets. You can add or manage your widgets from the tree view. Widgets added in the investment module for your hierarchy is shared between the tree, the timeline, and the grid view. So whatever widgets you add in the tree view, the same widgets are also available in grid and timeline view. Widgets can be created for metrics that have been defined in the hierarchies, and auto importing within a tree view has been updated to ignore templates, even if those templates have a parent value populated. Based on customer feedback on how they wanted to see the investment data, we are now also introducing the timeline view. This timeline view allows the customers to see their investment data in a view-only mode, similar to the task timeline. The investment data is view-only, so they cannot be edited. Widgets can be added to this timeline view, similar to the grid or the tree view. And then the widgets added in here are shared between the grid and the tree view. Timeline view will have its own colored by for each object type. And You also have the ability to collapse and expand all, similar to the task timeline. The RISC issues and changes enhancements are primarily focused by adding additional new attributes, which specifically are type, start, finish, status indicator, and manager. These were specific attributes that customers requested to be included here. The investment name can also be clicked on to navigate to the actual investments. And the RISC issues and changes data can be edited in the grid layout along with the flyout. We also support bulk or individual edits. With that, let's see the product in action. So let's go into the modern UX and let's go specifically to hierarchies. So in this case, I am actually first going to review the blueprint to show you how the status module can be added. So within my modern UX administration, if I go into my hierarchy blueprint, you can now see that I have status as a module that can be added to your hierarchy. If I go into the actual hierarchy itself, the first thing you would see is, I'm going to start with the tree view, is the widgets that I have already added to my tree view. The ability to add and the different types of widgets will be covered in a section of its own, and I recommend everybody to review that section as to how to create and manage widgets. So in this demo, I will only be showing that widgets are available in the tree view. Going to the timeline view, this is the new timeline view. The same widgets that were in the tree view are also in the timeline view. In here, you can see that the different investments are colored, and I can define the different colored by. So by default, it uses work status, but in my case, I have changed it to be different based on different priorities for different object types. I also have the ability to collapse all and then selectively expand to see the data as I want to see it. I can also filter the data based on any specific type. So I can say, show me the data that is only for, that is of type idea. So now only the idea data types will be displayed. If I go into the grid view, the first thing you would see that the same widgets are available, and also the same filter that I had applied is also listed here. So the filter and widgets are shared between the timeline and the grid view. We also have the ability to create widgets for based on my metrics. So first, let's just see some of the metrics that I've already predefined. So, and defining metrics is an existing functionality, so I will not cover how to create metrics, but just show you that I have about 3 metrics created, which is the roll-up benefit, roll-up cost, that pulls up the data for the children and self. So in this case, I can now see that I can define metrics for that specific I can define widgets for that specific metrics. So in this case, I have a widget for plan benefit, and I'm summing up all the roll-up benefits to see the total benefit. Similarly, I can see the benefit breakdown by different corporate priority. So I can use metrics in my widgets. Next, let's look at the status report itself. So if I go into the new status report module, again, the first thing you would see is the widgets. So I have the option to add widgets as I choose to. The status grid will display the data to me for the common investments and the status report. I also have the ability to edit this data as in this layout, and I can do that in the detailed flyout, where I can change the status, the schedule status, or I can do that in my grid layout. So let's change this one to on track also. The investment name is now clickable, where I can click on the investment name and that will take me to the respective investment. By default, it'll take me to the blueprint specified module. So in this case, it takes me to the properties, and I can then navigate and see any other respective data or go to status and make the necessary changes to make this at risk again, for example. Once done so, I can navigate back to my hierarchy and it brings me back to the status, and whatever update I had applied is automatically then reflected in my status grid layout. Finally, let's go into the risk module, and whatever I'm going to show for the risk module will also apply, the same functionality will apply to the issues and changes. So for the risk module, the first thing is, again, the investment name is now clickable. I can click on it to navigate to the actual investment. And you can see that the new attributes based on customer request have now been added to the list for me to include in my layout. And finally, that just like status, the risk can also be edited in the grid layout along with the detail flyout. And that concludes this section. Thank you, everyone.